Hi, this is Abul Hussein coming to you live and direct from London, the United Kingdom. And I have a very special guest with me today who has joined me from Toronto in Canada. Now, he is not one of the gurus that I would usually bring on to the show. However, he has just started his agency literally a couple of months ago. So you will get, insights and hopefully some golden nuggets fresh from someone who has started their journey, who will give you the real lowdown of what it's like to be an agency owner and the amount of work that you need to do. Because a lot of people think, you open an agency and you get rich. That's not exactly how it works. Now, before I introduce him, if you're watching this video outside of our Facebook group, that is the Social Media Marketing Agency Mastermind, make sure you find the link and join us there, especially if you're in the agency business. So without a further ado, Nour Bouhamdan, welcome to the show.
Thank you, brother. Thank you so much, man. I'm happy to be here.
It's great to have you here, and thank you very much for taking time out to join us to share your journey. So, tell us a bit about yourself, a bit about your background, and how you got into the agency business.
Awesome. Okay, I just to give you a background, I started my agency, I would say 2 months ago. So like in 2 more days, it'll hit 2 months. And I actually had my very first agency last year. And unfortunately, I just went to do an agency as just a random guy with no knowledge on anything, no knowledge on any systems or client acquisition or running and getting the client's results, literally nothing. And as you guys may know, if you ever do go something as big as starting your own agency without any knowledge or taking any courses or learning from anyone, I failed very hard. And so I spent the next 10 months saving up for a whole program on running an agency. And that's what I believe was the smartest decision I ever made. And in 2 months, I signed my very first client, which is while I was in school, online schooling. So last week school ended, so now I'm full-time into my agency. So like Abul said, I'm full-time and very fresh now.
Perfect. And that's and you're still in school and you're studying and you're building your business, and that is great, and that is hopefully inspiring some people out there who are who have a lot more free time to actually begin their agency business. So I mean, why an agency? What attracted you to actually opening a social media marketing or a digital marketing agency in the first place?
That's a great question. So a lot of times there's courses that pop up in your Facebook feed, your Instagram feed. One may be drop shipping, one may be agencies. But really, I took a step back and reevaluated, if I'm going to go full in on something, am I going to be passionate about it? And while drop shipping is amazing, there's really, other than maybe client testimonials when they get the product to their house, there's nothing really where like you build a relationship with someone, you personally get better talking with other people and literally changing people's lives. And that's why I took the agency path. And really my first client, I'm like changing his life as well, because it's going to be like, well, hey, you're getting these automated clients for your business, and it's insane profit margins as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So in terms of your client, you're in the HVAC space, which stands for like heating, ventilation, air conditioning. Have I got that right?
Correct.
Right. Okay. So how did you pick this niche?
Yeah. So as you guys may know, there's a big situation going on around the world. I don't know if I should say the actual word, but you guys know what I'm talking about. The lockdown and everything that's going on. A lot of niches that are awesome to go into, unfortunately, have closed. So that means I can only, if I was to go to, for example, a gym, a dentist, a chiropractor, anything where they're not very mandatory and emergency niches, I would have to force a certain type of marketing on it. And if they don't like it, then I can't help them at all, which is SEO for the long-term play. But really, I picked HVAC not only because I personally love the simplicity of it, of, hey, let's fix your air conditioner. it's a high ticket as well. So the reason I picked it, high ticket, there's less secretaries, so it's straight to the business owner whenever I call them. And very, very simple, and it's emergency. So whatever happens, they're always going to be open.
Yeah. No, that makes total sense. And thank you for taking us through the logic. And I hope some people who might be stuck in choosing a niche, get some value in terms of what they can do to choose the right niche. And as you have rightly said, quite a few countries are in lockdown right now. So, many businesses are shut. But hopefully when businesses start opening up again, the opportunities will begin to emerge. So how did you go about picking up your first client then? What did you do? How did you get them interested? How did you do your demo? How did you rope them in?
Awesome. The course that I went to is awesome. If you guys ever are interested, you can hit me up. But I'm sure Abul has some things that definitely will help you as well. But basically, you don't want to rely on one way to outreach. I unfortunately fell into the trap even a few weeks ago where I got my lesson learned, but I've come to the realization that you can't rely on one source of outreach. But the way that I got my first client was through LinkedIn. And that's what you guys want to hear. But obviously, you guys should use LinkedIn, Facebook, any other, like more than one outreach method. But I'm going to be telling you exactly how I got my first client, which was through LinkedIn. Do you want to hear the strategy that I used?
Go on, share as much or as little as you want. Hopefully, you share as much as you can.
Awesome. So a lot of people, when they're prospecting through LinkedIn, they connect with the person, right? And they probably message them or they probably email them, waiting for the response. Now, what I did with my client that I ended up signing was I connected with him and I found his mobile number. It's either in the contacts info, or you can search up the business name and the owner's name and say mobile, and you're gonna find the number. And you end up finding their number and calling them right up. And then you say, hey, how's it going? The reason I'm reaching out to you is blah, 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 whatever your value proposition is. To give you an example, I'm in the HVAC space, as you know, so my value proposition, I know it by heart now, is I help HVAC business owners bring in 10 to 20 new AC replacement jobs per month without chasing after leads. And when HVAC business owners hear that, they love it. So they're most of the time going to say, awesome. And then I just say, cool, to not waste each other's time, just have a few minutes. And then from there, I qualify them. If they're qualified, we schedule another call and we move on from there. And that's how I took some random guy on LinkedIn, setting an appointment with him, and then closing him.
Right. That's perfect. Now, I mean, a lot of people have a fear of getting on the phone because you added this guy on LinkedIn, you went to his profile, you found his mobile phone number in the contact section. Did you have any fears of calling this guy or of rejection, or, because cold calling is a nightmare for a lot of people? How did you overcome any fears, or were you just confident enough to just pick up the phone and call him?
I have two things to say to that. Would you consider your friend calling you a cold call?
No.
Once you connect with someone on LinkedIn, the cold call is gone, because now you can open the call up with, hey, this is Nour. We connected on LinkedIn a few days ago. How's it going? Instead of, hey, this is Nour Bouhamdan with HVAC Surge. How are you doing today? Oh, it's another sales guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Did the guy remember you from LinkedIn though? Because some people often forget.
Some people do, some people don't.
Right.
But if they do, there's like, I don't remember you, sorry. And then they're like they're in more of a, there's tonality is another part of it. But when you say you connected with them and they don't remember, then it's like, oh, please tell me more. I'm sorry, I don't remember you. Instead of a cold call. But something that I do use that really helped me take away the fear of calling is, what's the worst that can happen? I get hung up in the face. And
Yeah.
then if I do get hung up in the face, I can disqualify them easier. They made the disqualifying process easier for me if they hang up in my face. You know what I mean? So there is nothing to worry about.
No, that makes total sense. And I suppose I was going to come back to when you're talking to the clients or prospective clients, do they ask you about, do you have any case studies? Have you done this for anybody else? Do they ask you for references?
So are you talking about the initial call?
The initial call, because a lot of people that I speak to, they're like, oh, yeah, I want to do this, but what if they ask me for references? Or someone's asked me for a reference and I don't have anything to back it up. So do you get any of those objections, or have you had to deal with that?
Yeah, and I'm going to answer that with the context of you call them up on the initial call and they say, oh, well, I'm interested, but do you have any references? Is that the context that we're using?
Yes. Have you done this for anybody else? I mean, what results have you got to show? Show me what you've done for others.
Okay, cool. So the first thing I would say to that is, what do you mean? Because then when you say that, they're either gonna say the same thing, or they're gonna say why, because they're not gonna ask that they're not gonna ask for references randomly. Like if you go out, if you're with your friend and your friend's like, hey, we should try this pizza place. I went to it last night. You're not gonna tell them, oh, do you have any references that I can talk to that say it's a good restaurant as well? So what do you mean allows them to be like, yeah, well, I don't work with anyone that doesn't have any references. And then if they say that, I say, well, what references would you like to see? Because I'm not sure what service you would need, or if I can even help you in the first place. So usually how we go about things is I ask you 2 or 3 quick questions, see if I can help you and what service would most benefit you. And then from there we can move on. If you don't want to take the 2 minutes to see if I can help you in any way and what service you would need, we can hop off the call right now.
Right. So you stay in charge of the call. You are controlling the conversation.
Yeah, because there's hundreds of thousands of other LinkedIn people I can connect with. And that's only on LinkedIn. We're forgetting about the billions on Facebook and the billions on Google. So it's like, if you don't want to take the time, you're just making it easier on my end to disqualify you and move on to the next prospect.
No, perfect. That's an awesome answer, and I hope that helps a lot of people out there who might be nervous about getting asked that question, or if someone has put that as a blocker, move on. That's the most simple thing that you could do. So you started an agency last year, you failed, and then you started in a niche this year, and then you picked up your first client within 2 months. You've got some momentum behind you. What would you say that you did differently this time that has helped you to actually get on the right track?
I invested in a course.
But you did the work, right?
Of course I did the work, yeah. But you have to find, whether that be you or any other course, you have to find that program and coach that you fully trust and just do exactly what they tell you to do. Because you can join the best course in the world, but if you do some of what they say and you go out on your own and find other ways to do it, you're not going to be as successful. Like, I know a lot of my friends in the program I'm in, I joined 2 months ago, signed my first client, on the path of signing my second and third this week. They joined 6 months ago and they're nowhere near getting the same amount of appointments I am. And that's not to brag or sound really cocky, but it's just, they're not doing what they're like supposed to do. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you, oh, you have to work hard, you have to take action. But here's what I will tell you. Do you want to sign a client? You got to figure out, okay, one client. How many proposal calls do I need to sign one client? Let's say you need 10 proposal calls to sign one client. If you're not signing one client from 10 proposal calls, I don't know what you're doing. That's a 10% closing rate. So let's say you do have a 10% closing rate, which is what I use as when I'm going through my plan, just to hedge my numbers. So let's say 10% conversion rate. Okay, now to get these 10 proposal calls, how many outreach methods do I have to do? And how many times do I have to outreach on each method? So for example, LinkedIn, I needed to, let's say out of 10 people I connect with and call and I get on the phone, let's say I schedule from those 10, let's say, for example, I get 5 proposal calls from. So now I know I have to connect with and call 20 LinkedIn guys or girls and that'll get me 10 proposal calls. And from those 10 proposal calls, I'll sign 1 client. So there's a lot of reverse engineering. And once you do reverse engineer, then you figure out your day-to-day plan and what you need to do every single day to get closer to that 1 client.
Perfect. No, thank you for laying it out so simply. A lot of people say sales is a numbers game, but when you're doing the work and you're in motion, it really is. It's about speaking to the right volume of people until you get a yes. And as you have quite rightly pointed out, if you're speaking to 10 people and you're not getting a yes, you're probably doing something wrong. So in terms of your agency, obviously now you've got hopefully the summer break. What are your plans? How do you, because you're doing LinkedIn outreach now, how do you plan to expand your processes, I suppose, to take you to the next level?
Oh boy. There's when I sign my next client, I'm going to start running ads. So paid advertising, whether that be through Google, probably through Google. And that's, I don't want to, do you want me to talk a lot about that? Because for people that are starting in their more fresh stages, you gotta do the normal outreach in terms of cold outreach yourself. Because if you can't close a client from cold outreach, like reaching out through them yourself and not closing them, what makes you think you're going to close someone if you pay Facebook to put your ad up?
No, and that is it. I mean, a lot of people shy away from talking about advertising to get appointments. Now, obviously, once you've honed in on your skills organically, I suppose, and when you can, and you're a bit more comfortable, paid ads is, I mean, there's no agency out there that is hitting 7 figures that's not running paid ads. That's just the bottom line, right? But it's great to hear that you've got that on the horizon, you know. So, in terms of for people who are starting out, because a lot of people that will be watching this, they have done courses. There's plenty of courses out there. And I've spoken to people who've done one course after another, or they've seen enough YouTube videos, or actually they are right now, they're like a digital marketing freelancer. So they know they can deliver the results because they've been working in an actual agency and they want to transition to being that business owner. You know, what do you think is the easiest way for them to get started to pick up their next client within the next 30 days?
This, it's a tricky question because my answer, you're not going to get results. I'm sorry, whoever's hearing this, you're not going to get results if you invest in a 197 course, because you get what you pay for.
Okay, no, that's the straight enough. That's the straight enough answer. I suppose in terms of outreach, in terms of practical things that someone could do, you know, these are the 5 things that you should focus on over the next 30 days, and you'll see something come through. What would you say those 5 things would be for you? Or if you're advising your friend who's just, and you are their mentor now, because you have gone through the process, as their mentor, what would you suggest the 5 things they should do over the next 30 days to build a presence or to get some calls booked?
Very easy. I'm going to tell you guys what it is, but none of the things I'm going to mention matter if your sales process is bad. So as long as that's in place and you're really confident, if you have a 1 call close process, that's not good at all as well. Now, there's so many methods to getting, because basically outreach, the goal of outreach is to get an appointment. everyone complicates things, but the goal of outreach, no matter what method you're using, is to get an appointment booked and then having them enter the sales process. Facebook is one way. So friending a business owner on Facebook, messaging them. You can also get their mobile number from there, because now that's a warm call. Instead of a cold call, now it's a warm call. Hey, we connected on Facebook. How's it going? Another method through Facebook is posting on Facebook groups. But what a lot of people do is they post promotional or spammy images in the Facebook groups. The way to go at it is posting value in the groups. So for example, for me, it's HVAC. I post a lot of valuable HVAC, getting clients getting more AC replacement jobs, and people naturally click on my profile, message me, or click the links in my bio, and it's basically inbound. So Facebook friends, Facebook groups, connecting with people through LinkedIn groups, cold email, cold calling if you want to test that one out as well. Really, you guys, literally what I just laid out, if you just focus on 2 or 3 of everything I just laid out, you're inevitably going to get appointments. Notice how I didn't say clients, I said appointment, because you're going to get the appointments, and it's down to your sales process on how you close them.
Yeah, that's a great answer, and you've broken it down exactly what it is. Getting an appointment is one process. Closing from that appointment is another process, and you shouldn't confuse the two. You need separate skills to get the appointment to closing the appointment. And no, and as you quite rightly say, just because you've got appointments, you are not necessarily going to end up with clients. You know, Nour, you've been quite generous with your time. You've given us a very kind of real background, some real insights into what it takes to actually start an agency. So, you know, thank you very much for sharing this with us. I would like to have a chat with you in a couple of months' time again to kind of come back, measure your progress, see how you've done. Hopefully after the summer, and you've picked up quite a few more clients, and you're on the way, or you're on your way to a six-figure agency. So the final question I have for you is, if someone is out there and they are just nervous, they've done the reading, they've done a couple of different courses, they might have had a client in the past who paid them like $100 or $200 to test them out, or they've had some free trial clients and whatnot. What would you say they should be, I suppose, doing to get on track? And you might say find a mentor. I'm not going to put those words in your mouth, but what do you think is going to help them most?
Okay, here's what I'm going to say. You know my answer, but there's a lot of people that tell me, well, I don't want to invest in a mentor. I don't have the money. I don't necessarily want to do it. When I made the decision to join the program that I joined, I didn't have any money in my bank. I asked them if they could wait 10 months, and I ended up saving that money. I got it. Moral of the story is, if you're not willing to invest in yourself, what makes you think your clients are going to invest in you?
I think it's as simple as that. Well, Nour Bouhamdan from HVAC Surge, thank you very much for your time.
Awesome, brother. Thank you, man. Thank you. Hope you guys got value from this call. Feel free to message me. Leave my Facebook profile in the comments or wherever.
I will tag you to it, so you know, people will surely find you.